What up, everybody? Play the Scar Magic, and I joined you today. I was just thinking, hey, I've been budgetizing a lot, and I wanted to kind of fill you in on the progress of that, like what we've been doing to like kind of fuel these like $100 deck giveaways here and there. Um, what I've done like probably for the last 3 weeks is I've been kind of just auditing my decks, uh, kind of like looking at what the cards were there, and kind of just saying, well, I don't really need that one. That's kind of a lot. Like I'm going to go in a different direction, and I feel like that's kind of like experience that you're going to take if you're just starting your magic journey. Maybe you're still on arena. Maybe you're like kind of branching out into brawl and you're ready to kind of take your pile to the LGS and kind of get out there in the wild at your casual commander night. You should definitely do that. Um, and I'd probably just let you know that you can really have some fun. I would say even on MTG Arena, just like kind of just building kind of decks that kind of work well and kind of are saving the dollar. Like you don't really need to kind of really go over $5 a card. I would say for some of your builds, you can really just kind of maybe splurge a little here and there with a couple select cards, but really it's just like when your deck is inflated and it's getting to like $700. Maybe you have like one or two decks that are like that, but when all your decks are kind of like hitting that mark, 500 to $700, and you're like maxing out on fetch lands and all the sweet surveil lands and God knows what else. Maybe it's time to like kind of step back a little bit, and that's what I've done. And I've kind of had like kind of a revelation where I'm playing against very competitive decks on Brawl. I'm noticing that I can like make $100 deck and I'm still queued up with decks that play cards like Bloodthirsty Conqueror and like basically cards that cost half the cost of my deck. Just a single card is costing half the cost of my deck. And we're competing and we're doing well. And it's like I kind of get like a little down because I'm like, well, these decks I'm playing against are so good, but then I pump it into Moxfield and I'm like, oh my god, we only had to spend like $89 on this, and it's really fun. It's been like a really fun experience to kind of like do this. I think our Bartolome deck was an absolute conquer for $70. People just absolutely went ape crap over that. I think the Arwen deck is kind of similar in power level. I mean, people didn't really like go super crazy, but we got a bunch of subscribers, so it's been working. And this is kind of where I'm at now. I've actually basically just took apart my Maria that was more competitive. And I honestly didn't even really get to test it like in live. It was just kind of always sitting there. Like I was always just kind of tinkering it. I wasn't really playing with it. And it's honestly like I've kind of experienced now bracket four pods, and I like it. I like that play level. But I have a Roshin deck, and I feel like I can just be that. That could be like my competitive deck, and I can really juice into that and not really worry about it. Get the ancient tombs, get the gemstone caverns, get the Jessica's will, get all those kind of ritual effects and all those like expensive cards that kind of make that grow burr, right? So that's always a consideration. But I think it was time to kind of like, we're really kind of all in on this budgetizing and giving like doing 2 videos and giving away a deck. So this is kind of what we're going to do. We're going to be trading in this entire stack of cards here. And without further ado, this is like about a $70 card. The One Ring here. This Mox Opal is like $170, so that's going to be traded in as well. Sylvan Library, those go for like about 20 bucks. Mox Ambrose is like a $56 card. Deflecting SWAT is like similar, like a $55 card as well. Noxious Revival is like a $9 card, I think, depending on the treatment. And then I just had like some of these stacks effects here in this deck, which were really nasty. So, um, Altar of the Brood is a cool card, but like it's like a $20 card, and I think it's stabilized there. So it's just going back, guys. I'm just simply going to be trading these in for more decks for the channel. So make sure you guys follow along. Commenting on this video will be eligible for the Tycho video. So you're always eligible for like milestone decks. Like we'll do a 750 for Tycho. We'll have 1,000 for whatever. I don't even know what we're going to do for the 1,000 deck giveaway or 1,000 subscribers. Some people floated Aragorn, like probably a juicy Aragorn, Maybe like a $300 deck would be a cool 1,000 subscriber special. But in the meantime, you always have something to look forward to. Like we have April 12th, we have the Bartolome deck. That's going to be a Sunday live. So make sure you comment on both of those Bartolome videos that we did, those deck techs. So yeah, you definitely got a good chance for getting into a lot of this stuff. Let me turn on got my Wildcat MTG going on, guys. Shout out to the other MTG channels. uh, yeah, and so there's always some juice to be gotten with this. You're always kind of up for getting a sweet deck, and that's what's so cool about this channel. And we tried to like kind of grind it out too, like on the arena to like kind of really give them a test, a fair test, as you would say. So there's Aetherflex Reservoir. This was like a Sensei's Divining Top kind of win con slash like Reckless Fire Weaver. It was just like a hate bearer deck. It like hated on basically everything. Had like all the different orbs in here, static orb, just really nasty stuff that Mary just is not affected by if you can kind of get her contained and producing. So collector's oof. I even had a low tide cobra in there. It's probably pretty good. But like I said, like even going back to this deck, I probably would have built it a little differently now, just with a little bit more knowledge of the meta and kind of experiencing it at the LGS firsthand. But we definitely had some really nice tech in here overall. Some really nasty things. The Blood Moon, of course, is very powerful. It's like a $10 card, the Skiddering Cicada. Very interesting, of course, for like the your Reclamation and your Seedborn Muse, right? So Pyroblast, yeah, we had Pyroblast, Red Elemental Blasts, Breach. We had like a Breach combo there with like Lion's Eye Diamond. I didn't have a Lion's Eye Diamond, that was proxy, but all these were kind of the legit, the real deal, right? Lotus Petal. I do have an extra Lotus Petal, so I can still kind of work that into my Roshin deck for sure for some fast mana. Want to definitely produce as fast as possible. Fomori Vault, Sensei's Divining Top, Yavimaya Growth. So I'm expecting about $400, $500 just from like the cards we kind of looked at just there. Trinisphere, Storage Matrix, Winter Moon, Winter Orb, excuse me, a nice little bird here, beautiful bird, Carpet of Flowers here. Urza Saga is going to be going in. And like I said, I was kind of like my old self. I was kind of like getting redundant copies of these, like maybe too many, maybe too many copies of like Urza Saga, maybe too many copies of like a One Ring. Now it's time to kind of like chill out a little bit, reset, and kind of focus more, like I said, on those like $100, $120 budget builds we do. I call it the $85 challenge, but if it goes over a little, that's okay too. So here's a Worldly Tutor, Grinding Station, Course Totem, Meekstone, Vexing Bauble, Once Upon a Time. So yeah, basically there's the deck here, and that was kind of like complete like most like breakdown. I'm keeping some of them for like an equipment deck that I'm going to be definitely promoting soon here, so be on the lookout for that. So that would be the Maria equipment deck that we got under like $90. It's fantastic. Unfortunately, we kind of missed out on some swords there, but maybe we'll put in like a sweet sword, like a Sword of Feast and Famine. Let me know if there's a sword that you really love, like more than not, and I'll make sure that'll be like the marquee sword. Preferably one that doesn't have protection from red or green, because there's a lot of red and green equipments, and that's a non-bow or like a non combo. Basically, we don't want to be putting on equipments to Maria and then putting on a sword that's going to make those equipments fall off that are red, for instance, and giving them protection from red. So I don't even know if we would able to be put on a sword for her if she had pro red, anyways. So. Or, well, if she did have pro red, you would not be able to put any more equipments on her anyway that were red. So either or, they're going to fall off, or you can't put any more on her. So think of like an equipment, like a 3-man equipment that you really adore, and we'll make sure we try to include it into that deck for sure. Here's the Watcher in the Water. This is just some like bulky stuff, but they're still worth a couple dollars, and the LGS might be interested in them. They're just like $5 rares and kind of $5 mythics, for instance. Cool but Rude, I think, is like kind of on the down, but it's like $6. We have these nice John of On swamps. I have four in here, so I'm hoping to like kind of just get those. Those are from MagicCon. I don't have like enough for a playset. So, maybe they'd be interested in getting a few of these. Maybe someone's collecting these for like a deck, and there's some sweet John of On swamps. Or what may be cool if I took these to the MagicCon this year and got him signed and did like a little feature on that. Maybe if he does show up, I think he's pretty much at the con. So let me keep those. That might be fun. Let me keep his swamps and maybe we can get one of those signed. That would be kind of fun. I did like kind of double up on these for my Fire Lord Azula deck, but I'm kind of disbanding that one in favor of the Marchesa Dealer of Death deck. So we were kind of we're going to do some copy shenanigans, but I think I like the other one a little bit better. And I said, like, I don't really need these cards anymore, like the training centers. These cards are really nice, of course, but I can usually get along with probably just a nice few budget dual lands. Like overall I can probably do pretty well, and not be too sad. So I mean, this is a really nice land, but it's also like $16 and I can just use it for our decks, right? Here's Zuko, the Firebending Master. There's Firelord Azula. So these are all like, they range in from like, $3 to $20, but Black Market has a pretty good price tag right now. Dismember, I just don't really need this kind of sweaty removal anymore. I love Marchesa, but we can get along with like Fatal Push and stuff. We're totally fine with it. It's totally fine. And I'm totally cool with like spending like, 40 cents rather than like $8 on a removal spell. So there's Snuff Out. We'll get a little bit of money for that. Rise of Sozin was just hanging out. Have a nice little Avatar Roku. Don't foresee anything going on with him at the moment for me, but it's a nice mythic that carries a nice price tag. So that will be nice. There's Veyran, always very tradable and gettable, right? There's Ozai. Ozai is a really cool card, and actually is just a really good standalone card. Overall, and really nice Trampler Firebender for their haste. So he's very impressive for sure. I'll probably keep the Ozai just in case I want to build like an Ozai deck down the road. But overall, I'm pretty cool. Here's Snapcaster Mage, and just, we're just going to get easy money on these. Ashleen is kind of at a peak right now, so we'll just kind of utilize her for some dough. Enduring Curiosity, I think I have another one of these or two, so that can go. Just a little Triumla. And like I said, very nice, but just don't really need it right now. We're going to be like kind of budgetizing, right? So a Xander's Lounge would like kind of put us out of the limit already. Here's Iroh, Firebender Ascension. I do love this card. I do adore this card actually quite a lot. Quite a lot. So that's actually a pretty cool one. So yeah, Firebender Ascension is quite cool. Fire Nation Palace here, so you can see I kind of dismantled the Azula deck too. So here's Brazen Borrower, Narset's Reversal. This one was pretty nice. It's like $5. Mocking Doppelganger, a little flasher there for your Azula deck. Riel just was kind of, this is actually, it's a little story time with Blake. This was actually one of the first like mythics I had like ever had pulled, was the Riel, the Everwise. It was during like when COVID was, I think, just kicking up, and I bought like, I saw Ikoria at Target. I was like, whoa, magic. And it was so sick. I think I got these collector boosters, and it was like, I opened this and I just pulled straight fire, like a bunch of Real borderless foils, and I was hooked. I was hooked, guys, so fast. And then I was like playing Arena again, and like it was crazy. So there's that. And here's Torbrand. I used to collect play sets of these, so like I have a bunch of these Torbrands because that's like how I thought Magic was done. I literally had like four Great Henges. I had like four Terror of the Peaks. I had like all these four ofs, and I went to the LGS and I was like, hey, like so what do we do here now? Like, do people play standard? They're like, no, everybody plays commander. And I'm like, well, okay. And then I'm like starting to trade in cards with them, and they're like, whoa, dude, you have like four of every card. I'm like, I just thought that was how we did it. I was building my decks, my sick decks on Arena. I have four Great Henges in a deck. Yes, I do. Four Terror of the Peaks. Yeah, it was a little bit funny, but that's that. So I even looked at my old things too. I had four Spawn of Mayhems, and I was gonna do a video about that, but this is cool enough. That was also one of my favorite cards I encountered on Arena. One of the first OP cards. If you guys look up Spawn of Mayhem, it's a fantastic 4 drop that you can usually play for 3. Little secluded courtyard, just hanging out. Unmarked grave actually has like a kind of a nice price tag, and I think I have 1 or 2 of those. This is nice foily Salvation Engine. They kind of like these kind of little filler cards at the LGS too sometimes. Archmage of Runes, Overwhelming Victory, nice little borderless foily dude here. This is from one of the mystery boosters, Tower of the Magistrate. Carries a decent price tag. Nice little foily Untimely Malfunction. Tifa here. They get quite a few of these, so these are kind of harder to unload with them. I love Commander games, and they're my favorite LGS. They always have a lot of gas. So I'm going to have no problem taking these cards here, guys, and continuing to build some really sweet fire for you guys. So make sure you hype the video, get the word out that we're kind of like just here to kind of collaborate and make something fun, and give a sweet deck out that you will love. That's kind of my whole point, is to build a deck that you will not break your bank and that you'll just adore and you'll have a lot of fun with. All right, guys, I'll see you. Have a great week. It's Tuesday today, so I think we might get a Maria equipment video here soon. But I think I'll probably go right to the paper deck tech and just maybe do it like that. Let me know what you guys think, if you like the gameplay videos, because I can kind of grind it out, the gameplay videos, but I'm not sure if everybody likes those. So let me know if you like prefer having like 2 videos for the giveaway or just like one paper deck tech video. All right, I appreciate y'all. I'll see y'all later. Bye bye.